Shalom, shalom. This is a brother Amawan coming to you with another lesson in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash. As always, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. That's the men pushing this word in truth and in sincerity in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And much love goes out to the remnant of our people destined for salvation, also that believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, who will be redeemed at the coming of our Lord Yahushai. So, we know about the history, of our people in Babylon, and every now and then a new name that I haven't heard of comes up, and it's quite strange. I was going to say funny, but it's not funny. It's quite strange that how the likeness of these crimes against our people are so familiar or are so in likeness to each other. So I want to read this one about Anthony Crawford, right? And this is on Wikipedia, and I chose this because I don't want to, you can research into this yourself and read about it yourself, but I didn't want to. A lot of the other places where I could have read information on this was really extensive and far more than I want to get into right now, because I really want to just go into this really and just get into the scriptures. But it's gonna show some details about the crime against this man. All right. So it says Anthony Crawford, 1865 to October the 21st, 1916, was an African American and Israelite man who was killed by a lynch mob in Abbeville, South Carolina, on October the 21st, 1916. Here's a photo of him 6 years before his murder. So let's get straight to the point. It says on October the 21st, 1916, Crawford was taking 2 loads of cotton and a load of seed into Abbeville and had a disagreement over the price of cotton seed with W.D. Barksdale, a white store owner, an Edomite. Right, that's Jacob and Esau, the Edomite. He's an Edomite. He's our enemy. Right, after Crawford left the store, one of Barksdale's employees followed him outside and hit him on the head with an axe handle. Now, apparently, the story goes that, he wanted to sell the corn, and obviously this wicked Edomite was trying to undercut him on the price of the cotton. So he said, "Give me back my damn cotton." So he basically wanted to get him done for basically saying the word "damn," as if to say, like, who is this? This nigger to say damn to me. Who is he talking to? So that was the result. Him getting hit with the axe handle. Anyway, it said Crawford called for help, which drew the attention of Sheriff R.M. Burtz. The officer arrested Crawford, most likely for his own protection, which is a lie, as a mob of angry whites was already beginning to accumulate. Crawford was held at the jail briefly and released that day on a $15 bail. While Crawford was arranging bail, Barksdale was organizing a mob with McKinney Can to whip Crawford and kill him, if possible. Sheriff Burtz allowed Crawford to exit from a side door, but the mob saw him anyway and pursued him into a cotton mill nearby, where Crawford took shelter in the boiler room. McKinney Can entered the boiler room after Crawford, and Crawford, grabbing a hammer from some nearby tools, knocked the man unconscious. Although the mill workers attempted to stop it, Crawford was stabbed and severely beaten by the mob. Sheriff R.M. Burtz appeared and arrested Crawford once more, much to the chagrin of the mob of white Edomites. I'm going to keep saying Edomites, man, because that's what they are. They're Edomites. All right? They're the wicked in the scriptures, man. All right? Our enemy and enemies of the Most High, man. So it says the sheriff could only get Crawford away from the mob by promising the brothers of Can that he would not try to sneak Crawford out of the town before the full extent of McKinney's injuries was known. As it happened, Can was not badly hurt. Although Crawford was, he was treated by physician C.C. Gamble, who also happened to be the mayor of Abbeville. Gamble announced that Crawford would likely die from his wounds. So the man's been beaten and stabbed up, man. So it says, considering that Crawford might die before the mob could get to him, and concerned that the sheriff might spirit him out of the town, at 3 p.m., around 200 white men, Edomites, besieged the jail, captured and disarmed Sheriff Burts and abducted Crawford. Now think about this, man. The man's on death's door already. That's the seed of the wicked, man. That's what's in them. They're so evil. There's evil in their hearts, man. They cannot do any good. They cannot. It's impossible for them. They're not made like that. The Lord didn't design them and program them to be that way. Right. So and this is over the price of cotton, by the way. Let's not forget that. So I'm going to read as quick as I can, so I can just get into scriptures. So I'm not planning on making this one too long, alright? So, it says Crawford was dragged down 3 flights of stairs amongst the cheering, bloodthirsty mob, where they proceeded to beat him with rocks, wagon balls, jump on him, you know. The mob then dragged him through the black section of town with a rope around his neck as a warning. And that shows you how powerless we were and still are, right, as a people. And let's not forget, this is punishment, man. Alright? This is for punishment for going against the Most High. Alright? For worshipping other gods, for forgetting his laws, statutes, and commandments. Alright? For being wicked. Following after the ways of the heathen, man. So this is his judgment. Unfortunately, this is his judgment. And I say unfortunately, not because I'm against the will of the Most High, but unfortunately because it's just a really bad way to go out, man. But that was, that's what had to happen to him. But that doesn't take away the fact of what these Edomites did, man, and how they're going to pay for this. So it said the mob then stole a lumber wagon from a black driver and used it to take Crawford to a fairground nearby. Crawford, likely dead by that point, was still hung from a tree, and armed whites riddled his body with bullets, rendering it to a bloody pulp by the bloodthirsty white mob that resented his wealth. Because this man was quite wealthy. This is how he was trading in cotton, and he had like over 400 acres of land, right? He had over 400 acres of land, and that's a lot. Land is wealth, man. That is why, after the Emancipation Proclamation, the so-called freeing of our people in Babylon, right? They were supposed to give them, 50 acres and a mule, because the land you can grow on land, you can build on land, you can do all sorts with land, man. Land is wealth. All right. So it goes on to say, oh, and by the way, it says, and riddled his body with bullets, and not only that, they were cutting, this is the bits that they're missing out of Wikipedia, man. They were cutting parts of his body off, right, as this was happening. And not only that, once he dropped to the ground, the story goes that a stray bullet that was being shot at the time, when they were shooting all the other hundreds of bullets, hit the rope and he dropped down, and they burnt him alive, and they burnt him on the spot. Whether he was still breathing or not, anything's possible, man, especially with the Lord. If the Lord wanted him to suffer that severely, the Lord could have very well had him still alive at that point. But yeah, man, they shot him down and then they burnt him as well, man. And it also says, after dark, the county coroner, F.W.R. Nance, assembled a jury which he knowingly included 2 members of the lynch mob, one being his grandson, to the fairground to cut down Crawford's mutilated remains. Nance reported his finding as Crawford had died at the hands of parties unknown. So yeah, well, everybody knew who done it, man. Right? And the story also goes that they wouldn't allow anyone to cut him down. And that's in the scriptures as well, man. I can't remember how it goes. I'll try and find it if I can paraphrase it in my mind. Lord willing, I can. Anyway, what happened after that was they basically forced, I'm going to read all that, but they basically forced his family out of town, man. So that 400 odd acres of land now went into the hands of Edomites, man, who grew wealthy from that. And to this day, his relatives are still, alive and still trying to fight for some justice. And all they've got is some sort of signpost, as they will put up for our people, some monument that means nothing really, man. But ultimately, look, the beauty of this is that the Lord is going to he's going to avenge us, man. All right, he's going to avenge us. As we always say, these Edomites have got a lot to pay for, man. And we don't. There was a time where I still get angry because the Lord made me that way, man. But there's a time when this would really rile my spirit up, man. Right? But the further you come along in this truth, the more you understand that was that man's judgment for whatever reason. Okay? But the beauty of it is that he's going to be in the kingdom, man. Right? And he's going to be able to, his heart will be able to meditate terrors, as the scriptures will say, upon his enemies, man. Alright? Because first and foremost, Yahweh Shai is going to reap vengeance for us, man. Through the Most High. And then we're going to get our own chance, to deal out to them what they dealt out to us, man. So listen, man, let's just read some scriptures in here. So Psalm 17 and 6 says, I have called upon thee, for thou wilt hear me, O power. Incline thine ear to me and hear my speech. Show thy marvelous loving kindness. And you would think, reading all this, that the Lord hasn't shown that, but he has, man. Because the reason why we're still a nation, that we don't, even though we don't know, the majority of us don't know we're a nation. We call ourselves black and whatnot. No, he hasn't destroyed us completely, man. Right? He has shown loving kindness, and he showed loving kindness by punishing us, man. All right, we're gonna appreciate this even more so when we're in the kingdom, man, ruling over our oppressors. We're gonna appreciate this, and I'll say this anyway, as men in this truth, we appreciate it anyway, man, because we understand why. Anyway, so it says that, O thou that savest by thy right hand, them which put their trust in thee from those that rise up against them. Keep me as the apple of the eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. Right? And this is because we understand, we can read this, and we have enemies, man. Our people, the rest of our people, the majority of our people don't even understand that, man. They don't understand we have enemies, man. They still think that there's going to come a time when they're going to accept you. No. Listen, that we're above them anyway, man. Deuteronomy tells you that 7 and 6, man, we're above them. Right? You go to 2nd Ezra 6 and 54, man, that tells you also that they're beneath us, man. And the Lord does not give two shits about these heathens, man. Alright? It may look like he does right now, but it's all for the purpose of his will, to punish us and to condemn the wicked, man. It says, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. They are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. And they do speak proudly, man. They talk about the things that they've done, as in, I heard some people say that, I've heard a man say that we are in a better position for them stealing us from another country. Imagine that. That's the proudness of them, man. That they basically did us a favor by enslaving us. It says they have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing to the earth. like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. That's what they do. Everything they do is stealthily done, behind the scenes. They don't do things, they do things in the darkness, man. It says, "Arise, O Lord Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword." And that's the point, right? They are the sword of the Most High right now, man. They are his weapon of judgment against us. You see how the Lord does it? Now he could have had, I don't know, he could have had, the spirits on the left hand side just torment us, for everyone to see. But the point is that everyone's not meant to know of the Lord's existence right now, man. Not even our own people, only the elect. So all this time he's had our enemy from the beginning to mete out his judgment upon us, man. He's had another nation. He's used another nation to mete out his judgment, basically. Right, Luke 18, I want to read this for a purpose. It says, "And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint." Right, saying, and this is Yahushua, says, there was in a city a judge which feared not the Most High, neither regarded man. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, Avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, Though I fear not the Most High, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. And the Lord said, Hear what the unjust judge saith. And that's these devils in charge, man. The only time they perform any justice, especially for Jake, is when Jake has to go out and protest and show them up and expose them for their wicked ways, man. If Jake never said anything, man, these people would never show us any justice, man. Right? Their judgment is poor. Although they swear upon our holy scriptures, man. Right? They swear upon the word of the Most High, yet they don't follow his ways, man. Right? They are poor judges. That's why that is why in that what I was reading, the mayor of the town allowed 2 of his family members on the jury in order to make sure that the people involved in the murder of that man got away with it. And the Lord said, Hear what the unjust judge saith, and shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear along with them? Yeah, man, because the Lord ultimately loves his people, man. But there's a time and a place, there's a season for everything. And and the time, when the time is right, he's going to send Yahushua back to mete out justice, man. Put us in our rightful place of justice, righteousness, righteous rulership. Right? It says, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Right? Although it doesn't seem that way, remember. One day to the Lord is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years one day, right? So it says, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? Only from the elect. Only from the elect, man. Zechariah 2. And I start at 6. It says, Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heavens, saith the Lord. The land of the north is Babylon, man. It says, Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon, right? once again, aka America. Right? For thus sake, because this is the where the majority of this wickedness happened, right? This is why the focus is always Babylon. Right? Even though we've been scattered across the four corners, man, Babylon is that place where the majority of the wickedness happened to our people. The worst of our wickedness, I should say, happened to our people. It says, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. Right? Meaning what? A spoil sometimes is a treasure, right? So, or something that you're gonna, when you take the spoils in war, right? That means you're taking the goods, man, the booty. Now, not in the, the dumb sense that, is spoken in this world, but the riches, the treasures, man, the spoils of war, right? Basically, that's what we take them for a spoil. It says to their servants, which is us, and ye shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord. And many nations shall be joined to the Lord in that day, and shall be my people, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, and thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto thee. Right? And many nations shall be joined unto the Lord in that day, and shall be my people. Now, what does that mean, man? Because to the unlearned, they're going to read that and think, well, many nations and all the other nations will be joined unto the Lord and be his people. No, man. We're scattered amongst the nations, and that's what the Lord means, man. We are scattered amongst the nations, man. So in that time, the remnants of Israel will be that's what Isaiah 11:11, man. When it talks about bringing people from Tyre and Zion and all the places of the earth, man. The islands of the sea and all of that good stuff, man. So we're scattered abroad and we're going to be brought back together, man. Let's get Galatians, actually, because it's simple and to the point. Galatians 6:7 says, be not deceived. God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Right? So they've reaped, they've sowed slavery and corruption and degradation and perversion. All these things that this nation, this so-called nation, these Edomites have done is going to come back on their head, man. And it's coming to that point, they're getting exposed now through the social medias and all of that. People know who they are now. There's no escaping it. A lot of them even know who they are, man. And they're getting scared now. They're getting scared of that vengeance. Listen, man. Anybody with their right mind knows that you can't. If you're doing wickedness upon wickedness, man, like iniquity upon iniquity and wickedness upon wickedness against someone or some people, eventually you're gonna have to pay for that, man. Even the people in the world know. They call it karma, man. They say what goes around comes around, right? Because it's true. And we're dealing with a righteous power, man. He's putting us through the ringer right now, man, and rightfully so. We always say that, man. Not one of us in this truth are going to say that what the Lord's doing is unrighteous, man. Look at all the things that the Most High done for us, man. Bringing us out of captivity, making us a nation, giving us the Lord's statutes and commandments, the promises, and countless times, showing us his wonders, and we still went off all the way back then, man. So the Lord had to throw them curses upon us. And it's been for a short time, man, considering the fact that he's going to keep us for eternity as rulers, man. going the wrong way around. In fact, seeing as I fell on this, let me just read this anyway. Romans 11:1 says, I say then, hath the Most High cast away his people? Yahweh forbid, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin. That's telling you that who the Lord's dealing with, man. Alright? In one scripture easily. What am I looking at here? What am I trying to find? You know what, 19, I should have went further. It was right there in my face. Right, Romans 12:19 says, Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Hence the reason why, as much as our people have tried to do this, that and the other, and talk about this, that and the other, rising up and blah, blah, blah. Look, man, it's impossible for you to do so. We cannot take vengeance. First and foremost, the Lord hasn't given us the power on this earth to do so, man. He's given it to the Edomites, so therefore we have to wait on him. Alright, and he deserves, and ultimately, the vengeance, it says vengeance is mine. Because we are nothing without the Most High, man. Alright, and these Edomites have, they're on trying to destroy us as a people, man. Alright. If it wasn't for the fact that the Lord's dealing with us, man, they would have. Alright. So they've offended, these Edomites have offended the Most High, man. If, you know, calls us the apple of his eye, man. They touched the apple of his eye, man. So, you know, they're in trouble. Simply put, they are in trouble. And this is Malachi 3 and 6, right? It says, For I am the Lord, I change not, therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. You know, so we're still here, man. In fact, there was something that led me to, there was something as well that inspired me to do this lesson. It was a quote. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. No, I can't remember where it goes. Well, basically, it was saying that if you try to destroy a people, right, and they keep coming back, and they come back stronger, and you can't destroy them. Basically, it says be wary because they're God's people, man, and that's us, man. I wish I could remember how it went. I wish I could remember, but was it here? No, just look there. I wish I could remember, but anyway, look. The point of the matter is that's us, right? Because what? All the things they put us through as a nation of people, man. They've tried to kill us off, man, and they can't do it. That's why the scriptures say we are like the sand of the sea, man. Innumerable. Right? You can't get rid of us, man. No matter what you try, how are you gonna get rid of the sons of God, man? That's a ridiculous premise. Let me just get just a couple more, because I'm going into that time where I know attention starts to wane. Alright, that's why I try to keep these lessons, shorter for attention spans. Anyway, Revelation 19, and it says, "And after these things I heard a great voice of much people in heaven, saying, Alleluia, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord Yahweh our power. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he hath judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and have avenged the blood of his servants at her hand." Right? So this is after, the missiles and that smash up Babylon, man, and burn up the place, and just finish off all these wicked Edomites that, that aren't going to be fit to serve us, man, because there's a lot of them going to get killed up in that time, man, along with a lot of our wicked people as well, people of our nation and other heathens. Right? But that's the vengeance, man. That's part of that vengeance, man. Alongside us having them under our feet, right? Ruling them with an iron rod, as the scriptures say, right? Putting them into captivity. And there's more scriptures I could get, and I might do another part, Lord willing, if that's the way it's to be, on what's to come for these devils, man, their future, because it's grim. If I was an Edomite and I knew what I knew, all I'd be doing is living it up, man, until my destruction. Because what else would there be to do? Because there's no escaping it, man. Anyway, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. And Lord willing, I could do another lesson on this, just to get. There's tons of scriptures, man. I want to really get on. I'm in the spirit to get on these Edomites, man, and just teach their judgment, man. That's because that's something to look forward to, man. That's the part of the patience of the saints, man. We're sick of these people, man, ruling over us, man. Anyway, Lord willing, this is edifying. As always, I pray that it was, and I'll say shalom to the next one. Shalom.